Portland Sports Arena, this is Portland Wrestling. Your ringside host, Frank Bonema. Brought to you in part by Tom Peterson's, Oregon's largest TV stereo and appliance store. Tom Peterson's, 82nd and Southeast Foster Road. And by Friendly Chevrolet in Lake Oswego. Whether you're looking for a new or used car or truck, see the folks at Friendly Chevrolet. And a very good Saturday evening to you all, whatever you might be doing on this great July day and evening. We hope that you're ready to watch some great action.
Hello and welcome to episode 29 on the road to Thunderbird. Here we are on TEW IX, the Mammoth mod territory days from 1970, and we are exploring the Portland wrestling territory. Now, we had our last television show, last episode, before Legend of the Thunderbird, which is our big event. And let's have a look at the mail that came in after the event. Wrestling figures of the TV show. 0.2870, let's have a look here. 54,788. Okay, not bad. Time to heal. Could you have guessed it? Gene Knitsky. He always needs time to heal. To heat up those bones. Those knees are not like they used to be. But former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Let's have a look about that. The championships, alliances, National Wrestling Alliance, titles. Wahoo McDonald is the champion. Okay, it was vacated before that. Dory Funk Jr., Gene Knitsky. He held it until February 1969. So he is recently coming on off his run as the World Heavyweight Champion. I know I've looked at the comments and people have been asking, can we bring in maybe some other champions to face our wrestlers? Johnny Valentine, I'd love to bring him in. I saw him in a match against Wild Bull Bill Curry. That was it, from Texas the other day. 2 out of 3 falls match. They really had the crowd the entire time. He's somebody I'd like to bring in. But our show is tomorrow night, so we can only bring in the people who we have or people who are local. Or maybe if we've got somebody here, let's see, decisions. Contract negotiations with Classy Freddie Blassie. Yes, he was one of the guys we wanted to bring in. Like the Stu Hart, like we wanted to bring in Mick McManus as well, but that didn't go because he did not work in the USA, let alone Portland. But we know Freddie Blassie, he moves between sort of California and Japan at this point of his career. And he's retiring soon, but we have Freddie Blassie now on the roster. Let's see. Freddie Blassie works heel, men's division, set to debut, Evil Incarnate. But he'll be retiring 63 days. Love this picture here. Has he got, I don't know if it's a cigar in his mouth or what it is, but expect him to bleed. He was born in 1918 in St. Louis, Missouri. Freddie developed his toughness from growing up in a working class neighborhood. While he was always pushed towards all sorts of different careers, it was wrestling for Blassie, before which Blassie developed a passion, almost always getting in the ring from age 17. So there you go, from 35, he dominated the world of wrestling. A true pioneer, a true man of the wrestling world, and somebody who we are happy to have on the show. Let's look at events and availability. Legend of the Thunderbird, Evelyn Stevens is not available. Gene Knitsky is not available, it's a shame. Neither is Kay Noble or Fritz, but we were looking for somebody to have. Let's have a look here. You've got a lot more events now. I'll go into these in a second. We were looking for somebody to, let's have a look there, pre-book match for Ray Stevens to fight, and I think we found him. So somebody who is from Ray Stevens' past, somebody who who's had an ongoing feud with somebody who they've gone up and down the West Coast having battles, and now we're going to bring that violence all the way over to Portland, Oregon. Ray Stevens versus Classy Freddie Blassie. And if you ask me, this one is going to be the one that steals the show. Well, the main event's really strong as well, but this is the kind of one-off undercard match, which is going to bring something really different to the show. Let's have a look at his skills. What was his stamina like? I mean, if you'd ask him himself, he'd be like, I can go all day, all night long, Freddie Blassie. Don't worry about me, but I've got to check this anyway. I don't want to disrespect Mr. Blassie here, but I have to check. Okay, so what we're seeing here is it's not the best. And the yellow here, nothing catastrophic, but take into account maybe 13 and odd minutes story style match. Maybe also what's good for this audience, and also what is he going to be capable of doing. I think storytelling. Just to go through this, because we go through this quickly every single time we book shows, but this specifies that the aim of the match is to set up or advance an issue or to tell part of a story. For example, if you had a worker on a losing streak, you could use this aim or his matches to indicate that it's an ongoing issue. The workers will keep the match fairly simple and safe as not to overshadow the story being told. This is a good way to give fans something different and to entertain them without taxing the workers. Now, a lot of people think, you can't get the best ratings from a show using this. That's somewhere in TEW forums and in a bit of lore that goes on. It's like they're not going to get like the top ratings, but it depends on the territory. Sometimes they want, a very entertaining match without all the moves and the bells and the whistles, the dives and the flips. Especially in this era, this seems to work really well. And it works best for the wrestler, because if you tell him to go all out, and as we've seen with Freddie Blassie, he can't really go out. He can't have a long 20-minute match at this stage in his career. So even if everything else is brilliant and Ray Stevens is going to do his damnedest to make it the best match ever, it's going to struggle. Whereas if you do something here and try and meet their levels, storytelling, but maybe a bit longer, it's going to create something a bit different, I think, and it's going to get a better rating. But again, I've been proved wrong before. Okay, we'll continue anyway. So we've got 2 matches booked for Legend of the Thunderbird. I obviously couldn't have done that before because Freddie Blassie was not involved here. And titles. We know now that Evelyn Stevens and Kay Noble are not available, but our women's champion, we changed it over last time, it's Donna Christianello. And she has an ongoing feud with a certain Vivian Vachon. Triple V, Vivacious Vivian Vachon. It sounds like a heel, but no, she's the babyface in the storyline. And they've got one small thing that's happened here, running for the save. So why not? It's one of our biggest shows. Maybe we can make it that it is going to be for the event that they face off in a singles match. Again, we can change things afterwards, if we would so want to. Vivian, babyface, considered unimportant by the fans. Donna, also unimportant. Genuinely Italian, it says here. Start the match there. We won't add any of the road agent notes, because I want to do that all together with the show so we know what's going on. Pre-book. So we've got the Pacific Northwest heavyweight title match, Torquemada. We've got Freddie Blassie versus Ray Stevens. People will be minds blown. Freddie Blassie is going to be there. This will be the thing to sell the extra tickets to the show. If this was real life, like last day, we can announce on the radio. We can maybe put a spot on some sort of local TV. We can put up posters near the arena. Freddie Blassie will be appearing in one of his final appearances before retiring. You notice when we were in the availability screen there for the events, let's have a look there. I have added a couple more now. In the meantime and in between time, I've not had that much time this week to do lots of other things that have been going on to do recording, but I was managing to get some events done and some ideas. Legend of the Thunderbird. We're going to modify this event. Special set, 15,000. Fixed arena, yes. Ticket pricing. We're going to put to premium. And I can tell you for why. Because this is going to be our main show. Let's have a look. And where do we do that? What schedule? Every year, brand. Is this the season finale? I say Legend of the Thunderbird will become our WrestleMania. Numerals, and it will be 1. So I just had this as an idea before, but I've been thinking we've been talking so much about the event, and I like the logo thingy I made and the name Thunderbird. It sounds wrestling, but it doesn't sound wrestling in the same way. You know what I mean? Let's get a minor band. Let's make some money. Defend all valid titles, probably. Fixed venue, no. Fixed arena, Northwest. Right now, yes. Save. So Legend of the Thunderbird is our big show at the end of the year, our Starrcade, our WrestleMania. And we run it in June, so it's not going to be concurrent with any of the other major shows. Not many people run something at June. But maybe as I see how the year goes, it's sort of like, okay, we're building everything towards that. June's kind of like schools are still in session, it's warmer out and everything. But it's one of the last big events before the summer holidays. And everything's building towards that. Legend of the Thunderbird, school's out. Then we're going to have Redwood Rebellion. You see a bit of help from Microsoft Copilot here, and then editing a few things on the way. And it's just going to be like Redwood Rebellion, obviously Portland in the Northwest. Huge logging industry there, and the redwood is a tree that's obviously not as many as they used to be, but is very synonymous with the area. And again, nothing majorly different about this show. We might end the ticket things there as well. I did that later. Trailblazers, obviously the basketball team, NWA. Yeah, NWA basketball. See Ric Flair do a slam dunk. No, the NBA team in Portland is called Portland Trailblazers. And there we have nothing super special here either with this event. And then I thought of an event called Battle Stations. And more a generic poster here. But the idea with Battle Stations will be that it will be all 4 versus 4. So it will be teams fighting against each other, sort of like a Survivor Series. But that'll take place in February. And then we come to Last Stand Lumberjack, which is going to be sort of like our Battle Royal style show, whereby a lot of people get in the ring at the same time. Maybe do 15, maybe 20. It might just be the top stars of the area, or it might be everybody. It might be 30 people. But something unique to the Portland territory, some sort of twist to it. Maybe there is lumberjacks on the outside. Maybe everybody who's feuding with somebody on the inside of the ring is on the outside of the ring. So there's feuds going on all over the place. But the winner of that match will go over to Thunderbird and challenge for the title. Possibly. Or it might be for its own title itself. But I thought something else to stand out. So what have we left to do? We have Thunderbird here tomorrow night, and what else should we check before this happens? It's how the storylines are going. So the All Germany feud, extremely hot here. We had Dean Ho and Eric, the tag team champions, being Evil Incarnate. A bit of interference there on the last show. But they haven't faced off one-on-one, so maybe something there. Dean Ho and the entire Evil Enterprise, a big feud. Donna and Vivian, we've addressed what they're going to do. They're going to have the first meeting. Hopefully, really show what the women's division is all about on the next event. Antonio Inoki, challenged by Kamata, extremely hot. He's got 73. So these two are going to lock it up at the show. And they're going to have this Portland street fight with taped fists. Kiniski versus Bourne. Now again, this one's been going on since the 2nd of January 1970. It's the never-ending feud. And usually because he can't make the actual shows when we want the big shows. And Ray Stevens is going to be in a singles against Classy Freddie Blassie. So at least Roddy Piper a little bit on his own on this one. And we'll see what we can put together here. Maybe Roddy can find another tag partner. Maybe Dutch can fight someone in the singles. Greg gets involved. Maybe we keep Greg and Roddy off the show as wrestlers. Maybe use them as auxiliary characters there. Tomorrow night, let's advance the game. Katsuji Adachi, born 1942 in Osaka, Japan. He made his debut in 1956, astonishingly low age of 14. But the debut didn't come in professional wrestling, it came in sumo wrestling. Right. Before, we are now on the night, it is Tuesday night, Legend of the Thunderbird. And you might think as well, it's like, Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, do they have these shows on these nights? And looking back at Portland, yes they did. Yes they did. A lot like how Memphis Wrestling had their Monday night things at the Memphis Coliseum. That was a staple of what they did. But also in Portland, they had these bigger arenas and they ran them in the middle of the week. And that's when they drew the biggest houses. It's just one of the modern days we're used to big wrestling shows being on the weekends. I mean, even look at Survivor Series for WWF. In their beginning, they always ran it on the night of Thanksgiving or the night before Thanksgiving, but it could have been on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Thursday. Let's have a little look at the news before. Let's have a look. Resets. Anything interesting happening on the news before we head to the show? Chin Lee walks out on ASW. Not sure who he is. Okay, it's the French promotion there in Quebec. Freddie Blassie hired by PNW. This is big news. Portland Wrestling Show here. Whitey Caldwell hired by CGW. His name I've remembered. Okay, American wrestler from Tennessee. Whitey Caldwell. Very good fundamental and physical skills. But he's in Tennessee, so it's not realistic we'll bring him over just yet. Very over in the Southeast. Only a 5 in our Northwest Territory and loyal to the Memphis. Okay. And anything else happening on the news? On the other bit of the news, sorry. Here we go. I almost busted up last night. They set out to rob a bank and damn near won a war. Hitting through theaters, Kelly's Heroes follows a motley crew of United States soldiers that go AWOL in order to rob a French bank located behind German lines. Sounds fascinating. So this is what we're up against. This is just hitting the cinemas. And so we have to put on a better show than this story. And I think we can do it. On this day. I've not been on this before. Birthdays, here we go. Hurricane Castillo was born 1936. Nobody died on this day. Look at this, the history in this game, because he's put all this information in. You can see what happened on this day. The Scottish middleweight title was won 1905. Waldo von Erich won the Texas heavyweight title. Ken Lucas. Eddie Graham and Sam Steamboat won the NWA tag team titles. That's a bit of history. A lot of things have happened this day. Stan Vachon and Butcher Vachon. Moondog Mayne won the NWA Pacific Northwest title. Do you guys know who Moondog Mayne is? Moondog Mayne is none other than Lonnie Mayne. And he's working for us. Can we change his character? That's an idea. See, he's won the title a lot of times. It's Moondog Mayne. Been the heavyweight champion 8 times. Tag champions 11 times. and with Beauregard once. So let's see footage of that. See, Maine is the blonde-haired, bearded, funky-dressing, constantly disheveled worker who has little fear in the ring, as comfortable leaping from the top rope as he is taking a bump from even higher. Moondog Lonnie Main has a very aggressive style and is unrelenting and vicious, which, alongside his charisma, makes him a star. But on our game now, the problem is his gimmick has not been very good, and he's got hot momentum, but it's not been working for him. I think we have to consider like a gimmick change for him, maybe after the big show here. Make a whole different idea for him. A realistic gimmick. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do with Lonnie Main. And I want to see how this the pre-booking works out. Antonio Inoki versus Torquemada. Ray Stevens versus Freddie Blassie. Vivian Vachon versus Donna Christianello. These are the matches which are going to make our show the best show, not just in the Northwest, not just in the Portland territory, not just in America, but in the world. The show coming up tomorrow night, we're going to have Legend.